So what is ESL?
ESL is a new security company that focuses on executive protection, and it focuses on doing it right and having the highest possible quality, and make sure that our agents are really, really well trained and focus on giving the clients the best possible experience of buying executive protection.
Yeah, absolutely. I think doing it right. So much goes into that. I mean, I think that when we say doing it right, I think that both of us, we have the experience. We've got the time now to make it happen, where we focus on just that, doing it right, focusing on quality. What is quality? Is such a hard question to answer for so many people, and I think that I think we both have the idea, and I think that it just kind of came together so perfectly.
I think so, and the whole thing about quality is a funny thing, because a lot of people and a lot of companies are selling executive protection, but you kind of have this feeling that it's more about selling the product than actually doing the service correctly, right? I mean, a simple thing like actually starting out with an RTVA and sticking to the RTVA, redoing the RTVA and keeping it a live document is something that a lot of people tend to forget.
Absolutely. I think that most people are afraid to say no.
Yeah.
And afraid to say no, and also too eager to say no, where it's, somebody wants to just jump right in and start working, start collecting, the retainers, So I think that I couldn't be more excited for this partnership, where both of us are just so focused on doing it right. And I think that phrase, doing it right, and focusing on quality.
I think that's super important. And I think one of the things that's really important is that we're not in a hurry.
Yeah.
Right. So it's not about growing. It's not about building a $100 million company in 3, 5, 10 years or whatever. It's about building a company where the client focus is pretty much what it's about.
Absolutely. I mean, building the culture too.
Yeah.
Building that culture where everybody's into it. We all love training, but when somebody is, really driven to do what it's right, like we are, I think that that culture is going to be hugely impactful as well.
I think so, and I think that one of the things I've learned in my past life is that if you don't get the training portion built in from the beginning in all levels, all the way from the management to the mid-level leadership, all the way down to the agents, if you don't get that training built in from the beginning, it'll be very hard for you to catch up later on, right? Because you've taken a bunch of contracts, and if you don't get training built in, it'll be hard both finding budgets for it, but budgets come and go. That's kind of a very quantifiable thing. But what's really important is that when you start talking about training, is actually building in so the agents can participate in the training and leave their details, so you have some kind of a backup function built in so training is possible.
Yeah, I think the middle part is the biggest thing. I think that so many details as they grow, the middle just kind of gets left behind. We focus so much on the new agents to train them up that we just don't have the time or bandwidth to do the middle. And I think that is critical. That is something that sets a good team apart, is the good leadership. So
yeah, for sure.
That's a big thing. You mentioned starting way back in the day. If you technology or anything else, what would you bring back with you to start all over again? Well, if you could start.
Oh man, there's so many things. It's actually really hard, because looking back, we've had a really good run, right? But one of the things that was really hard is, like you said, focusing on the middle management, and then focusing on getting technology fully integrated. There's so many people that talk about conversion, and we talk about bringing in and adopting technologies, but it really starts somewhere else, right? It starts with having leadership, mid-level leadership, that is curious and open to new things, right? Because a lot of people want to do what we did before, and then we think having a new radio is kind of like bringing in new technology. But it's way deeper than that, right? I think there's so much more we can do. I mean, on the intelligence side, most agents should be able to do some level of intel, but a lot of agents are really hesitant to do it, because we don't and this is me speaking as well as an agent, we don't fully understand it, right? And a lot of Intel platforms and Intel providers kind of complain that EP does not really understand Intel, and EP complain over the Intel products that we get that don't really hit what it is that we need, right?
Yeah.
So by integrating it already from the ground level up, I think there's a lot more we can do with that.
Absolutely. Bottom up, touching on protective intelligence, a little pet peeve. So much of it is just missing the mark currently. I think that's a huge missed opportunity for most teams, and a wasted budget item for most teams. I think that can be much more honed and specified, and bottom up is the way to do it.
Yeah, I think so. But I also think there's a lot of other stuff that I hope we're going to be successful in doing differently, right? Like including a bunch of the services that should be included when you buy protection, right?
Absolutely. Everyone overlooks some of these, they call them parallel services or anything else, but things like mail screening and TSCM and all of that. I think that the issue is they see them as parallel services, and they're not. It should be part of EP. It should be part of the bigger package that's all balled up into that. So when you get EP, you get that too.
Absolutely, and the same with training. Yeah. If you don't have the training budget, like we talked about, built in from the beginning, and have kind of like the substitute agents ready to go, then training won't happen, right? It has to be built in from the beginning. And again, we talked about technology, but in all of these fields, technology is such an important thing that needs to be built in as well.